Welcome back, Ninja community and persons who have watched my quality statement and disclaimer video. If you haven't seen that already, you should probably go and check that out. I'm going to be covering some ninja techniques. Some I have already talked about in my previous videos. This one will contain a few more and additionally give some more context to some of the ambiguous application of the techniques. Now, before I begin, I'm going to mention that the viewer should watch my quality statement disclaimer video, additionally understands my quality statement and disclaimer video, and that this video, in short, could be treated as is with ballistic protection. That means I don't have a seal on it, so I don't guarantee the techniques and or your application of it. Also, if you're watching my video with the intention of using it to commit a crime, that is a crime. Also, if you use the content in committing a crime, that is additionally a crime. Also, the viewer understands that this is my intellectual property. Okay, I'm going to also talk about why some of the techniques should not be allowed in a sport. So I will begin by doing the techniques. The first technique of the serpents come together is taught as a defensive eye strike. The eyes being the great equalizer in a fight. Okay. This also prevents an opponent from grabbing me and throwing me, or grabbing me and headbutting me, because a strike to the face with some fingers, typically met near the bridge of the nose, is very likely to deter an attacker. Okay. No matter in what angle that they meet this defensive eye strike. Okay, so the movement from here, the next movement is serpent's lateral turns back. The turtle pushes back, tiger scratches the shell, the serpent swims the water. Okay. The movement of, say, if this were a knife, this is a good training tool for ninjas to practice on their notational knife. It's not even pointy, to reduce the risk of injury. Okay? But the serpents come together, lateral turns back, makes it very difficult for someone trying to grab a hold of my wrist, either one, to try to detain me. Okay. Now, moving on to the turtle pushes back. The turtle pushes back is a ninja's answer to a question, usually to a larger person trying to take them down in a frontal bear hug. The question being answered by, can you handle this pressure at your sternum, or near the like right below the sternum at the solar plexus. Okay. The opponent would typically duck lower, especially if I was shorter than my attacker, to try to ask a new question by probably grabbing my leg for a takedown. However, that would bring their head lower, putting them at a great disadvantage. The tiger scratches the shell has an ambiguous application of scratching my opponent's face if their head were, say, near my armpit. This would typically cause them to back off, because if you scratch the face, even trained fighters train to move forward. The instinct is to move forward. The scratching your face, however, will typically cause them to back off, especially if you catch their eyes. However, if this was used in a sport, if this was allowed in a sport, it's possible that a novice ninja might accidentally spread a larger attacker's rib cage, causing great harm. This is why these techniques should not be allowed in a sport, one of the most popular ones being MMA. Okay, now moving on to the serpent swims the water. I will not get into that application. I will talk about the other movement of the serpent causes a wave. Okay, typically evades an attacker from throwing punches from either the right or the left, either in a right forward stance or a left forward stance, and is ambiguous whether I'm using weapons, right, or my opponent has a weapon. Okay, moving on to, let's see, a new technique. Well, it's not a new technique. It is a different technique I haven't shown before. It is called to hold a scorpion is unwise. This technique is an answer to a question of an opponent trying to take me in a rear bear hug by grabbing me over the arms. Okay. The poem, or ninja poem, is quoted this way: to grab a scorpion is unwise. Okay, so where you're pivoting the entire body, right, from cupping the hands over the top, pivoting and moving them down, or breaking them loose. In a quoting poetry, it would look like this. In a real fight, one might be bent over like this, their opponent trying to grab them, and they might put their hands over the top, and once they have a good hold, they would pivot as they broke their hands free. Okay, these movements are also ambiguous with, this technique is ambiguous with a knife or a tonfa, such as this. Okay. It would look slightly different, slightly modified, but not drastically modified. Okay. To hold a scorpion is unwise. Okay. It would keep just a tip of blade or marker in and scratch the opponent's hand or cut. All right. Well, I believe that does it for this video. Feel free to check out my other videos on my YouTube channel under Adam Summerford. That's ADAMSUMMERFORD. And feel free to subscribe there to be alerted for when I do random videos on there. And check out me on Facebook under my artist name, Meleo, that's M-E-L-E-O. Feel free to leave a comment and hit like a ninja. So, until next time, share my video with ninjas and people, not with people who ought to be ninjas, because they might accidentally learn something. So until next time, stay ninja, my friend. Stay ninja.